The Lies of a Liar. Written by Kite's Life Insurance. Read by Arashi. The sound of it lowering rung in Kokichi's ears, and a sad, scared smile sat beautifully on his pale pink lips. Meanings, symbolism, hope. He had forgotten all of them. Now he only knew that he stayed in the dark room by choice. Looking up, he saw the darkness once again, thoughts passing and screaming over and over in his head. A sweater made of rectangles, sewn loosely together in a purple color, and white pants that reminded him of how small his body was whenever he shifted from his position. Kokichi didn't want to leave. He didn't want to die. He watched the door sometimes. Sometimes he'd watch the only other person in the room with him. There was no real point to his existence. But there was no way he'd let himself die a useless death. He knew pain. He knew silence. And he knew rejection. It all swirled inside him. But he had long grown accustomed to them all. Deep numbness, protecting him from the outside world. Kokichi was alone, left with nothing to support him. There was no one to support him. No real person. No one would miss him. No one would mourn his death. Kokichi wasn't a captive, not in the sense of the word that made knights and foreign wizards traverse continents to free him. On the contrary, they mocked him, perhaps feared him. The center of a small universe, they said, but too afraid to suffer through pain in the feet to go anywhere. A joke. A lie. Kokichi believed them, and didn't believe them. He was just another object, just another pawn in a game of chess. What use was power in a place that supported weakness? None. Kokichi felt the fear and panic seep into his body. He looked up at it. Absent-mindedly, he lifted his hands and touched it. The cold, smooth metal, making chills run down his spine. Using his strength to try and push it up was useless. Light never stopped shining, no matter what removed it from view. But there was nowhere for this light to go. Where he was, only darkness was waiting to be pierced and thrown aside. The metal came closer and closer, but Kokichi didn't flinch, turning his head to the side, feeling the cold metal on his cheek. Perhaps it was the feeling of the metal on his skin. Maybe it was the adrenaline flowing through his veins. Or perhaps it was the want for freedom, the thing he hadn't felt or seen in so many years. Perhaps it was the need to be dead, to be truly free. Perhaps it was something else. Kokichi felt the metal rock beneath him and closed his eyes, hands falling to steady him as he stopped himself from running. He felt something stir inside him. The fear, the panic, the anxiety that had been trapped forever collapsed onto itself and blew outward, scattering through his body and out his fingertips. This was different. It wasn't something he had ever felt or experienced. Tears fell from his eyes and rolled down his pale cheeks as he laughed. It was a strange feeling of excitement and panic. Then he felt it. He felt everything. He felt the pressure on his ear. He felt his eardrum explode. He bit his lip in pain as he felt his blood vessels begin to explode. It was as if his head was on fire. A loud crunch was heard as his skull shattered. He felt his cells, tissue burst. And after a few seconds, it stopped. 1 minute, the room was there. Kaito controlling the press, the cold metal on his skin. And the next, it was gone, flattened and dissipated like dust on the wind. Kokichi stood for the first time, wobbly like a newborn animal. His hands traced his face, as the winds fluttered underneath him, rocking him like a child in the arms of its mother. Kokichi looked around, looking for someone. Kaede, Angie, Gonta, anyone. No one there. He was alone. Kokichi felt the shattering pain inside him moments before he fell to his knees, face tilted up, to feel the cold darkness that had been his only companion for years and years. He was nothing. There was nothing left. He was alone. He was alone before, and he was alone now. As someone had said, "You're alone, Kokichi, and you always will be." In the end, he believed the lies created by a liar.